Hello there and welcome back to my channel. I am the Rogue Witcher. For those of you who are new here, I do content on all things Marvel, DC, Star Wars, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, all things sci-fi, fantasy really. In today's video, it is the final part 3 of my Marvel MCU movie ranking series. Today you'll see me rank the top 10 and finally find out what's number 1 on my list. Before we get into it, please do hit the thumbs up, comment down below and subscribe. It really helps grow the channel and I of course appreciate it. It's all important for new YouTubers, and if you happen to be a new YouTuber, comment down below your channel and I will subscribe. Hopefully you subscribe back and we'll help build each other's community and get our channels up and running. In at number 10, Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I give Guardians an 8.5 out of 10. Now this is difficult because it's so important to understand how good Guardians 1 and 2 was. Why is it number 10? Emotional roller coaster is the way to describe this film. The journey of the Guardians cast, along with popping into the 4 film and along the Avengers film, it's been a long road. You know, these lovable misfits are just all in our hearts, and it really came to a big head in Guardians 3. You know, we're dealing with the aftermath of Endgame, we're dealing with the aftermath of the loss of Gamora, and you know, we see Peter Quill, who's in a very dark place, you know, always getting drunk, in an emotionally bad place. You know, they're on nowhere, sort of holding down the fort on this, you know, community that they've built there. And then out of nowhere, some shiny golden guy bursts in and starts causing all sorts of mayhem. Some really good fight scenes. I thought that was visually really well done. I really liked the fight scenes. I liked the choreography. I liked how it was shot. CGI, visuals, it was all brilliant. Unfortunately, obviously Peter being drunk, he's not able really to help. And Gamora puts up with Groot, some really good effort in the fight. But of course, Adam Warlock ends up injuring, almost killing Rocket, which is really the whole centre of Guardians 3. It's about Rocket, it's Rocket's journey and it's Rocket's story and the other Guardians' role in his story. It's interesting because we do get Gamora back in a weird way. We get pre-Gamora, if you will, pre-meeting the Guardians. Of course, with the events of Endgame, there is a Gamora variant out there who just hasn't experienced what happened with the Guardians, so therefore she is actually hanging around with Peter's sort of old crew, not old crew, but you know, Ravagers, another faction, and she's called in to help on this quest to help Rocket by Nebula, who's obviously in contact with her. Peter didn't know, he seems a bit upset, but they go about their mission to save Rocket, and that's where the film really starts to get going, if you will. They go to this planet, which is sort of like a storage planet of all files and data on the villain and all his like the High Evolutionary's works and experiments and things for his corporation and his company. They break in hilariously, which is always funny with the Guardians. The humour is always on point, just like in this film. And they go about trying to find the information to help save Rocket. Of course, it doesn't go to plan. It all goes to hell. Hilarity ensues, great visuals, over-the-topness, classic James Gunn. Find out more information that they need to know, which of course leads them to the planet, which is basically Earth 2. It looks like Earth in every other way, but it's animals and that have been evolved from the High Evolutionary. We know by this point that he wants Rocket's brain because of how smart he is and how he's putting things together quicker and more eloquently than he can, and how he's the key to, you know, helping this, you know, new race that he's going to build become the great thing that he wants. Those emotional flashbacks with Teeth and forget the other two, Teeth, Floor, and I forgot her name, but she's like an otter and she's voiced by actually Hawkeye's wife. I know. So yeah, we get those awesome flashbacks, those emotional scenes with those characters, which is really funny, but even for an adult could pierce my cold heart. And then anyway, so it all gets built to a final battle where the Guardians are split up. Some are on the ship that's taking off Earth after Earth 2, whatever you want to call it. That's a film. And they're trying to unite. They find that more people are prisoner. These new beings and all the old beings that High Evolutionary has experimented on the ship / building. And it all comes to a big head. They have an amazing final fight scene. They all team up. you know, going down that awesome hallway scene, which was fantastic, fighting, the music choice, brilliant from James Gunn, the way it was shot, over the top, brilliant. No, I loved it. It was a fantastic film. You know, I think the highlight of the film, though, was a bit before the emotional moment where we thought we'd lost Rocket, and, you know, Peter's screaming in pain. Gamora can see that he's actually a good person. You know, these are the feelings he has for a friend. And it was very emotional, him flashback, thinking he's going to go be reunited with his friends, but it's not his time. He still has work to do. And, of course, at the end, brilliantly, Rocket beats, smashes and ravages the high evolutionary's face that we see in the flashback when he killed his friends, and then into the modern day, in the present time, where he decides to spare him. He's like, no, you're not worth it. You know, the High Evolutionary, of course, then gets dusted anyway because he tries to go too far. But no, I thought the music choice was brilliant. I thought Peter's journey on this film, from loss and come to terms with it and being there for his friends, stepping back up. You know, Drax is always funny but emotional, you know, with Mantis and Nebula. Nebula really being a part of the Guardians for, I'm not saying the first time, because she dabbled obviously in the Avenger movies, but like really in like one of the Guardians films for a large part was this one. Yeah, and it was just really emotional. We thought we almost lost Peter at the end, you know, James Gunn, sneaky, doing us like that. And no, it was brilliant, you know, and it was just a really good way to tie it up. Certain characters moving off into their own directions, which was really cool. You know, hopefully, you know, according to the end credit, we'll see Star-Lord again, which is obviously brilliant. And yeah, that'll be fantastic. And of course, a new Guardians team that's set up. I hope to see them in future projects. But yeah, that's where Guardians number 3 is on my list. In at number 9, Avengers Age of Ultron. I give it Ultron Avengers, wrong way around, 8.5 out of 10. I like this Avengers movie. It is my least favourite of the 4, but it's still brilliant. You know, Ultron, menacing, awesome villain.
In the flesh.
You know, created not really by, by Tony, but not intentionally by Tony and his ego. Of course, you know, the Mind Stone played its part, and you know, bringing this ultra awesome villain to life, voiced brilliantly. I can't remember the actor's name. Is it James Spade? I could be wrong. The bloke from The Blacklist and Office and Boston Law, fantastic. His voice is so unique, his mannerisms, his character, you know, he was fantastic in the role. He didn't just voice it, I think he did the motion capture. No, he was brilliant. You know, the Avengers are back together again. You know, newer members as well. We sort of see, not officially yet, but you know, we know the Falcon and War Machine, aka Iron Patriot, are going to be, you know, teaming up with them into the distant future. But no, it was really good. Opening crawl, going to find the spear. You know, great fight scenes, great visuals. Tony gets this vision that sets him on this path of creating, you know, what he believes is a security blanket around the world, if you will. They get the spear, scepter, same thing, and you know, all is well. But of course, it doesn't. It's an Avengers movie. Tony's creation has manifested itself into being evil with the help of the Mind Stone. It's created this ultra evil villain, and of course now there's a threat for the Avengers to face. They're a bit disjointed because obviously a few are unhappy with Tony and Bruce for doing this behind their back. He believes that he was chosen, Tony, to save the world after this vision. He's seen it. He has a purpose. I need to do this. Man on a mission. Ultron starts causing all sorts of havoc and mayhem. He recruits 2 new powered people. We get introduced to the Maximoffs, Quicksilver and the Scarlet Witch, which was really cool. It's great to see them on the big screen. And yeah, it was really cool to have them introduced in this film. You know, the film is about them just constantly going up against Ultron, keep losing, really. You know, they're not getting anywhere, you know, and eventually they end up having to go to Clint Barton's home, where they find that he's actually married and got children. 4 senses, after being affected by Wanda with the mind vision stuff, there's more at play here. There's strings being pulled, which is, you know, we get those real big hints to, you know, this is another Infinity Stone. What's going on? Things are being pulled behind the scenes that we don't know, and he wants to go investigate. The Avengers are at a low, bit of a broken team. You know, the Hulk and Iron Man faced off in a great battle after, again, they were all bamboozled by Wanda, and the effects of that put them in a very vulnerable place. Nick Fury turns up to give them a bit of a pep talk and a bit of a, you know, slap on the wrist to say, dust yourselves down, let's get going again. And of course, they team up for the big finale in Sokovia. They all fly out there to help rescue Nat, who is also taken by Ultron. and you know the Wanda and her brother Peter have come, and they're all united now. They're all on, you know, the same focus. We need to stop Ultron. Vision is born, a creation of Jarvis, Ultron, Thor's hammer. You know, the Mind Stone. They bring about this being, and you know, can we trust him? Well, he lifts Thor's hammer. Good enough for us, am I right? Exactly. They go to the big final battle to stop Ultron. It's
all of you against all of me.
Brilliant. I mean, the way it was shot, visually stunning. Again, the editing, choreography, acting, all of it's phenomenal. It's lifted into the sky. Tony has to try and find a way safely to get it down. The robots are terrorizing the people. The Avengers are splitting up to try and help. Some are getting them off the flipping floating, you know, landscape. Others are trying to protect and stop him from hitting that button that's just going to detonate the whole thing. They're all fighting. It's all visually brilliant. Hulk smashing, Thor's lighting people up. No, it's really good film. And it all comes to a head when, of course, heartbreakingly, Quicksilver dies, sacrificing himself to save Hawkeye, you know, who they had beef with earlier in the film. Just friendly, but beef. Wanda has a moment of pure agony, which allows their guard to be down. Boom. Button hit. It's now plummeting to the ground. Tony and Thor have to find a way to safely destroy it without killing everyone down below, which would have massive effects for the planet and wipe out a large part of the population. Vision goes to deal with Ultron himself, and brilliantly, of course, they manage to destroy it, save the people, all on the thing. Of course, as we learn in later films, there was a lot of casualties, but as it is in the way of war, the Avengers have won. Vision deals with Ultron and erases him and gets rid of him for good. Also, we think. There's emotional moments. Tony decides to step away. He realises maybe he's doing a little more harm than good and needs to have a bit of self-reflection on some of his choices. Thor goes off again to find out who's the person pulling the strings. Banner is MIA. We don't know where he's gone, which leaves Steve in a bit of a unique position with the Avengers. It's time to recruit new blood, and he does. We bring in Wanda, we bring in Falcon, we bring in War Machine, aka the Iron Patriot, and, you know, it's sort of, you know, a new dawn, if you will, in the Avengers. That's where it is on my list. In at number 8, Avengers Assemble. Oh, this has a special place in my heart. It's an 8.5 out of 10 as well. Oh, I watched this film in my final year of high school with some high school buddies. That's how long ago this film was. God, do I feel it. But what a film. You know, the conclusion of, you know, was it phase 1? All the individual films building to this moment. We get the Avengers, Thor, Iron Man, Captain America, Hawkeye, Hulk, Black Widow. They all team up in this epic film to stop the villain Loki. Brilliant choice. But no, this film's brilliant. You know, it's emotional. It's brilliantly shot. Joss Whedon really nails the tone, the comedic value with action and seriousness to comedy. I think it really blends well. I think it holds up over time with the CGI and the visual effects. I think it's brilliant. You know, it's a classic film, heroes come of age moment where the villain threatens the planet. All the heroes have to team up and unite to stop him. Of course, it's complicated because it's a family member of one of the heroes. He has the Tesseract, an Infinity Stone. He's causing mayhem. He's recruiting people. He's affecting people. I love that scene in Germany where Cap goes up against him, but just before that, when he's talking to the people, you know, you crave to be ruled. And that man bravely steps on and says, not by men like you. He's like, there are no men like me. And he's right. There are always men like you. Now, that really hit home. You know, the awesome entrance with Tony hijacking Nat's, you know, music system, if you will. Steps in with a bit of AC/DC, meets Cap. It was really well done. I really liked it. The film's really good. It sets place on a large part of it on one of the helicarriers in the sky where the Avengers meet and discuss for the first time being a team and why the Avengers needed to be formed, how they're going to stop Loki. They're figuring each other out, feeling each other out. It's really good. Steve and Tony, a bit of banter, a bit of quip. Do they like each other? Do they not? It's pretty interesting. Nat and Bruce seem to connect quite well. You know, they still haven't got Clint back from being affected by the Tesseract. And then it all goes to hell when Loki has Clint turn up and free Loki and cause mayhem. Everyone's now at odds. Thor's been fighting Hulk in a great fight scene on the thing, destroying the flipping helicarrier. You know, that scene where he turns and Nat's running and crawling. Oh, brilliantly shot, fantastic. You know, Tony, you know, billionaire, playboy, philanthropist, giving Steve all the beef. Steve doesn't like him, he hates his arrogance. And Iron Man's like, wow, this is the guy my dad worshipped. I don't get the hype. It keeps going, and then the emotional moment. Agent Coulson, he perishes. He stands up to Loki, he dies. Heartbreaking. Spoiler, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., go watch it, he's fine. But they don't know that, and this is where they feel the loss, and they realise we have to put whatever differences we have aside to one side, team up, this is it, boom, Avengers assemble. The battle takes place in New York. Loki, the skies open and the villains emerge, the aliens destroying all they want, the Chitauri tearing up New York. Here come the Avengers, they team up, they start fighting. It's brilliant, they're all everywhere trying to, you know, save different parts of New York, each person taking different parts, some on the sky, some on the ground, some high, some low. But it's all too much, there's too many, you know, they're getting overrun, they're getting, you know, overwhelmed. They realise the only way to stop this is to stop the portal, because otherwise they're just going to keep coming. Iron Man decides to go and distract Loki with a bit of, you know, charmful conversation where he lets him know, listen, no matter what, yeah, we might not be able to stop you, but you'll be damn sure that we'll avenge you. We'll avenge the Earth if you somehow overcome us. It's all a bit of a trick and a ploy and a delay to keep Loki occupied. Tony then gets in his brand new suit. Ass kick recommences. They fly up into the sky, but drama, there's a nuke coming in. Of course, more stakes. Not only is the world ending, aliens are flying, now there's a nuke coming in to destroy Manhattan. The World Security Council decides to take action against Nick Fury's recommendations. Tony, doing what no one thinks he will do, makes the sacrificial play. He decides to take the nuke up into the sky, sacrificing himself to destroy the Chitauri army and save Manhattan, New York, Queens, you name it. Thankfully, in a bit of luck, he falls through the wormhole, black hole, whatever you want to call it in time, but he's not awake. He's plummeting to his death. Thor's going to go to save him. No need. Boom! The Incredible Hulk catches him mid-flight, lands him, not too gently, and screams him back to life. And Tony straight away, of course, makes jokes. That's Tony. A really good first film for them all uniting. Really emotional, really well shot. It's great to see them link up together on the big screen for the first time and set up what's going to be a massive, amazing franchise. In at number 7, Thor Ragnarok. I give Thor Ragnarok an 8.5 out of 10. It's the best of the 4 films, which have really been hit and miss, but Taika Waititi really nailed this one. Finally, the perfect balance between humour, action, seriousness. It really all came together. Visually, it was shot very well. I thought, again, fight scenes, choreography done very well, especially the gladiator arena fight scene. I really thought that was well done and really, really well. Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It had humour, it had jeopardy, it had it all. Thor, of course, on his travels of trying to find what's going on with the Infinity Stones, can't really seem to find too much out. Goes back to Asgard, of course. The brother he thought he'd lost. No, he's fine, he's alive, he's safe. And he's ruling Asgard. Where's his dad? They decide to go on a brother sort of buddy cop film adventure to find him, where he encounters Doctor Strange for the first time and meets the would-be wizard. And they find out that, you know, Odin's in a bit of a rough space, but he helps him out, shows him where he is, as long as he promises to leave the planet with Loki soon. They find Odin, he's at the end. Thor is struggling, even Loki gets a bit emotional. Odin is letting him know that this is my time, it's coming, but I'm sorry, I've kept a terrible truth from you. You just happen to have an evil sister.
Goddess of death. Hello.
You know, as you do, we all have them. And she's probably going to come, destroy Asgard, and destroy you. Brilliant. Yeah, just what you want. He passes in an emotional moment, saying goodbye to his sons, and then the portal is released and Hela is free. Straight away, she demands they bend the knee, and in classic fashion, they tell her where to go. And in one of the most shocking moments of the MCU, Thor throws his hammer, she catches it and destroys it. Mjolnir, rest in peace, buddy. At least for now. Yeah, all goes wrong. They get zipped away by Heimdall to go back to Asgard, which of course is a bad idea. They have a battle in the rainbow light. Boom, they both get kicked out of it and they both land on a foreign planet. Somehow, time has passed for Loki and not Thor, not quite sure. Maybe because he got kicked out first and that affects time, I don't know. They are at Sakaar, sort of the rubbish pit of the galaxy, where the Collector's brother, the Grand Master, basically is a bit like one of the emperors old of Rome. He collects fighters, makes them fight for entertainment, and, you know, to keep the people's, you know, rebellious stuff down by entertaining them with great fights. What a stroke of luck it just happens to be that his Grand Champion is indeed our very own Incredible Hulk. Oh, what a bonus. Thor, when he's pitted against him, thinks that, you know, great, I've got a friend. You ain't got a friend in him. They fight. It's awesome. Thor versus Hulk, part 2, gladiator style. Boosh, blows are being shared, fists being thrown. After all, he's a friend from work. But no, it's brilliant. Thor gets the upper hand because, after all, he is the God of Thunder.
I am the God of Thunder!
Hulk slaps him about after Thor is taken out by the Grand Master with a bit of electric, even though he's the God of Thunder. Not sure how that works, you tell me. Hulk lands a big, devastating blow and gets the victory, you know, thanks to a bit of, you know, WWE style interference. And that's that. Loki realises, oh, I don't think I want to be here much longer. What a shock. Thor encounters a Valkyrie and realises that, oh, she could be his ticket home. The Valkyrie, an ancient warrior of old of Asgard, who went up against Hela, and she probably wants some revenge. He tries to appeal to that side of her. She's having none of it. Hulk, he doesn't want to go either. Thor realises he needs Banner. Hulk doesn't like Banner. He wants to be Hulk. Nothing's really going the God of Thunder's way, but of course he is still Thor. And he manages to get the upper hand on Valkyrie, free himself from his electronic sort of prison tag, if you will, keeping him restrained, and he decides to escape. Hulk doesn't want him to go. They are friends after all, but after seeing the video message from Nat, turns back into Banner, and sort of to Thor's disadvantage, he has Banner, but he sort of needs muscle of Hulk. Valkyrie decides to help him escape. She realises that she can't outrun her problems anymore, and so the trio form the Avengers and decide to leave. In the end, they are helped by Loki, who decides to come around. No, he doesn't. What a shock. After a bit of get help fun, he decides to screw over Thor yet again. No surprise. Thor, very smartly, realises what he's doing and one-ups him this time and says, "You're becoming predictable, brother." They return to Asgard. Yes, they go through the Devil's Anus. What a name. And they encounter Hela, who's been causing all sorts of grief on Asgard, ruling it. Toe-to-toe, Thor, brother meets sister. They have an awesome epic fight. He loses an eye, father like son, but it's okay. He gets the vision that he needs from his dad, the advice he needs. He's not a Thor of hammers. He's the God of Thunder. In an epic lightning strike and an amazing music choice, he then enters the Rainbow Road and starts kicking Hela's minions' ass left to right. Boom! Loki turns up, the saviour is here, helping the Asgard people seek refuge and escape. He's lighting up the Rainbow Road as well with the Valkyrie. The Avengers are in full flow, kicking ass. Hulk's taking on the Wolf. Boom, 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 it's all going off. But alas, they're still not going to be able to defeat Hela. Lightning, thunder, just ain't going to stop her. Thor realises this is the end. This is Ragnarok. For the greater good, for his people. The planet must be destroyed so Hela can be destroyed. Loki helps him, and Ragnarok is achieved by releasing Surtur. Very sad, but they're going to Earth. They're going to be okay. We've got Korg. We've got the humour of Korg. So everything's going to be just fine. He thinks Loki's left him. No, he's by his side. Loki has a turn. Finally, a great character development scene here from where he was to where he is now. At his brother's side. Great end credit scene though, because we know what it sets up and we know where we're heading. In at number 6, Captain America Civil War. What a film. 8.5 out of 10. It feels like an Avengers film. I mean, wow. Fast and furious is the way to describe this film. We have a bit of a somber start to the film when Tony is met by a lady who's letting him know about what happened in Sokovia affected her particularly because her son was lost. Wanda on a mission, unfortunately, sees the lives of some innocents taken when they prevent a former S.H.I.E.L.D. agent getting a virus out into the world's population. Steve's manipulated by him when he hears that Bucky is the one who sent him. But getting into the heart and the thick of it, and the conundrum is that the governments of the world, the United Nations, are sick of the Avengers thinking they can do what they want when they want, and the calamity that it leaves behind. Even though they are the greater good and they are saving the world, the effects of saving the world does have its effects on the everyday person and their surroundings. They demand the Sokovia Accords, that they sign up to these accords. One, so there's no anonymity. Did I get that right? Ooh. So we know who all these are enhanced are. We can't just have any old enhanced going around. No, we need to know who you are, what you can do. That's only fair, apparently. And that you'll only be needed if we call you, if we decide. The team is split. Tony thinks that's good. We need to, we need to be accountable for what's going on. We've made some mistakes. Nat agrees. Steve doesn't. Steve and of course Falcon and Hawkeye, they're like, no, we disagree. No, yes, we have made some mistakes, but we've done a lot of good and we continue to do good and will. And what if, for God, heaven's sake, heavens forbid, there's a real threat and we're not allowed to go and even worse things happen? The team is split, a fight ensues where recruitments are made, sides are chosen. Bucky is being painted out to be the villain, which isn't good because of course Steve has an emotional tie to that. Tony doesn't really take Steve's, side on that. He believes Bucky is the person pulling the strings, even though we know Zemo, the villain sort of the movie, after what happened to his family in Sokovia, is pulling the strings, playing the Avengers against each other to lead to calamity. In the awesome fight scene, Avengers versus Avengers, Team Iron Man versus Team Cap at the airport as they go, because they find out, even worse, what Zemo is about to discover, that Bucky is not the only Winter Soldier. There's a lot of jeopardy in this film, a lot of moving parts, but teams set up and aligned. New recruits, Black Panther, T'Challa is introduced in this film after his father is tragically killed in a part of the manipulations of Zemo trying to turn the Avengers against each other. His father is collateral damage, so the would-be new king of Wakanda puts on his suit, the Black Panther, and teams up with Team Iron Man. Iron Man, realising he needs more recruits on his side, also brings in the young web slinger Peter Parker himself. Spider-Man's in the MCU. Wow, what a moment it was. It was great to see him recruited, the scene with him and Tony talking, he really is young in the scene. You realise what a teenager Peter is with the casting of Tom Holland. It's just fantastic. The fight ensues, they fight each other, Ant-Man goes big, sometimes low, and they fight each other. Vision and Wanda being the most powerful of the two, affecting the other team's state of play. And it all comes to a head when a tragedy occurs where a mistake by Vision accidentally hits Rhodey and very much injures him. Thankfully, not mortally, but yes, it is a big injury where at a minute it all looks like without technology he can't walk. Tony uncovers the truth that Bucky is not the evil villain he's being painted out to be. He realises that there's someone pulling the strings, and after the capture of some of his friends of the Avengers put in cells, he realises maybe the side he's picked isn't the best one after all. Tony then, in an effort to make it right, convinces Sam to tell him where Steve is, to go and help stop these Winter Soldiers and Zemo and put everything right. But upon arriving, Zemo, one step ahead again, the manipulation continues where he finds the archive footage of Bucky murdering Tony's parents. That sets off an awesome fight scene and the big finale of the film where Iron Man goes toe-to-toe against his friend Steve, Captain America, and the Winter Soldier. Fight scenes are epic, toe-to-toe, hand-to-hand combat. We have the amazing Iron Man suit versus Captain America's shield standoff. We have the emotional line of, he's my friend Tony, so was I. It all comes to a click and a clack and a head crashing finale when he's thrown down his Tony right on his head, and Steve bashing in with his shield breaks the arc bit that powers Tony's suit. Just when you think for a moment he was going to kill him, he's not. It's a fake out. Tony, having blown off Bucky's arm, showing that he would have done anything to get revenge for his mum and dad, is sort of left half beaten, half broken, and emotionally stunted at his friend and his betrayal. As they go to walk off and leave Tony on the floor, he shouts out, "That's not your shield. You don't deserve that. My father made that for you." He leaves the shield behind, very emotionally. The film is wrapped up with Tony back at the Avengers complex, and he gets a letter or, message from Steve Steve saying how he regrets how things went down and he understands the wrongs he played in this conflict, and that no matter what, if he ever needs him, he's just a phone call away, and hopes that one day they can be friends again. Brilliant movie, emotionally fantastic, and yeah, just all around awesome. Hi guys, I'm going to stop it there. I've decided to make this the end of the video and continue the top 5 in another video separate, just because this video was going long and I don't want to have to rush the last 5, because obviously it's the most important 5 and I want to go into detail over how amazing those films are. So yeah, sorry if you thought it was going to be the whole 10. It's just going to be from 10 to 5 today. Thank you for watching the video. Please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe. Comment down below if you agree or disagree with my list and why. And please check out the final part, which will now follow on Friday at 7 PM UK time, where you'll find out my top 5 Marvel MCU movies. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, I'll catch you in the next video. Adios.